Why is it important to learn about people and places from around the world? You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb into his skin and walk around in it. Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. Let's say you are born within the walls of the most safeguarded space in the world. You are fed and taken care of. The life you have lived has never required a single ounce of scrutiny. You know of the outside lands because your peers discuss them in the marketplace. Hushed rumors and stories are brushed along to you in your familiar dialect. The rulers of your space are quiet. The only times you hear from them are when they broadcast to you in your living room. You awake to your life and find no reason to question what is out there. Everything you could ever ask for is at arm's reach. The act of wondering is unrequited and not defined by the populace. There is no word for rebellion. How would a person within this space know they are being limited? There is no contact to outside influences that can shape their view of our planet, much less themselves. In The Impact of American Culture on Other Cultures, Language and Cultural Identity, Susanna Carmen Sisma states, "The American culture is a diverse, uncommon melting pot, inaugurated by the rapid European conquest of vast territories sparsely inhabited by various indigenous peoples. Therefore, European cultural patterns predominated, mainly in language, arts, and political institutions. However, people from Asia, Africa, and North America also contributed to the new emerging civilization, influencing popular tastes in daily life." We can gather from history that America itself is an amalgamation of many different people, all combining to create a new era of knowledge and ingenuity that created global impact on a massive scale. Other countries inspire one another to build and invent new lifestyles and cultures. The importance of knowing about other lands goes beyond education. It affects all aspects of living as well as dying, from celebration to diet, and even burial and grieving processes. Each country can learn and gain from knowing one another, not only as members of a collective species, but also as friends. When you learn about the lives of others, you are essentially learning about yourself. We study and participate in academics not because we are seeking to view concepts and ideas, but to understand them. This effectively makes the things we learn an integrated part of our minds pieced together with the help and guidance of others. To know is to be. When we retain information shared by others of an alternative lifestyle, we are holding new practices that can shape us into better people. Self-awareness comes about not from pandering within your own confines, but reaching into the expanse, trailing for even a glimpse of nuance, or to feel something fresh. We are what we surround ourselves with. If we are to fully realize ourselves, we must first ascertain that our home is but one of many, and the truth is outside the walls. Close-mindedness. To argue with a man who has renounced the use and authority of reason, and whose philosophy consists of holding humanity in contempt, is like administering medicine to the dead, or endeavoring to convert an atheist by scripture. Thomas Paine in The American Crisis. One of Google's definitions of correctness is conformity to accepted social standards. Are accepted social standards required in order for someone to be correct? One can assume that social standards are meant to be defied if one is so inclined. Each of us are born unique from our counterparts. The research of the strands that make us have proven this. Why are we so bent on holding the preconceptions of others in our thoughts? Being concerned with someone's lifestyle and shaming or judging them for not being like you is a sign of ignorance at best. We pass punishment on those who harm others, but we often reject simple and positive changes in culture as if it is violation of a law. Without seeing all sides of the coin, we are becoming subject to complacency at its worst. The contributors to this lifestyle are known as NPCs, because they do little to think for themselves and hold little to no understanding of knowledge. They are easily influenced and persuaded into mind traps. These snag them with detrimental echo chamber sources and ideals that effectively block them out from new concepts that would help them seek a well-rounded perception of others. This is the entry level of ideological corruption. Those who are quick to ignore opportunities and listen often begin in this stage. If there is a dichotomy of social dialogue personalities, many of the people you find it useless to discuss anything with fall under this space. In Learning to Acknowledge and Understand Other Cultures by Recognizing Your Own, Joshua Bjerk wrote, "We see the world through a distorting screen created by our deeply held, often subconscious values and beliefs. This reality can lead to an unintentional blindness and potential insensitivity to the values important to members of other cultures. What if we were knowledgeable enough to always deeply contemplate and analyze our internal subconscious beliefs? The world would be a wave of new ideas and connectivity. We would eliminate damaging practices committed by deep-rooted lack of understanding. Arguments of rage and circular banter could turn into discussions of new ideas and compassion. School would become a place for youth to find themselves more easily. Public education would become peaceful rather than loud and confusing. School violence may even be mitigated if we were to implement cultural sensitivity in standard curriculum." Cultural competence. Differences simply act as a yarn of curiosity unraveling until we get to the other side. C.R. Taylor. Active pursuit of understanding others changes people. When de facto standards prevail against the assimilation of other cultures, all that is left is bitter shards of hate. Even the scrunching of your brow at another proves it is not good health to participate in senseless hate of others. The headache of anger and sadness should be enough to stop anti-human behavior. Yet there is still a global dilemma of hate. Being willing to realize you are wrong and need to apologize as well as change is integral to becoming culturally competent. The single instance you believe someone to be strange should be the precise moment you soften your judgment. We are a primitive world in the sense that we are not fulfilled in our potential. It is safe to admit we are fools. There is always room to gain knowledge of yourself through listening to others. Never assume you are right, because the person standing next to you may be right in their own way. One new ideal that holds up well in discussion is as follows: there is less right and wrong, and more same and different. Many times I have witnessed the Western standard of actions being deemed wrong, when it has not caused pain to people or struck against laws. In Improve Cultural Competence in Your Practice by Laura B. Kaufman, she records in one of her interviews, "It is human nature to assume that people from the same culture are all the same and that differences between cultures are superficial," Miss Baskett said. "When you see patients, beware of your assumptions," she said, "and remember that your experience is not the same as theirs." Although we can relate to others if we have similar lives, it is a bad idea to assume we are photocopy experiences. The concept of being open-minded, ready to gain a greater sense of who you are, chasing the threads needed to receive greater knowledge of other cultures, and researching the lives of others. These are the ideals that we can constitute the importance of learning about another country. We are small and insignificant when taken in the scope of nihilism, but extremely important and special from the perspective of this planet's biosphere. The running hope is that we can achieve greater heights of advancement by coming to learn of ourselves. We are all one species of intricate evolution. The very holds that band our fibers seem to elude uniquenesses everywhere. If life is considered to be meaningless, the experience is the antithesis. We are predecessors to a new age of enlightenment. As we become self-aware as the budding collective organism that we are, our view of ourselves will be the driving force into the unknown. Together we are small, but microscopically we are immense.